Hi, good morning, everybody. As my t-shirt reads, Monday should be optional. So yes, we always have Monday blues because in job, once we are done with our weekend, everybody around, whoever is in job, they just feel that Monday, oh my God, another absolute task. I have to go to work. Again, a busy week. So Monday, I don't think anybody likes it who is in job. So Friday is one of the most favorite days. Even Saturday for some guys like us who are 6 years working. Friday, Saturday both. But the thing is, when you spend a Monday very differently, it needs to have a discussion. Yes, I am in Goa. I have come for a small trip with my family away from the hustles, bustles of Bangalore and the busy life, job and work. I'm just here to have a break from everything. And if you can see this, it's a very green thing I am around. It's a very green place and I'm in my hotel. And the reason for making this live today is today is a very special day. 11th of January is a very special day for every cricketing fans because this is the day when a legend of India, a legend who played for India for 166 test matches, he played around 300 odd one days. He played only one T20 in England and a marvelous cricketer. Many guys tell him that if cricket is a gentleman's game, then if you want to see that gentleman of cricket, he is that person. Yeah, born in a middle class family in Indore in Madhya Pradesh in a Marathi family. Many people don't know, however, that he is Marathi. Yeah, he's born in a Marathi family. His dad used to work in a company of jam, Kisan Jam, so he got his nickname Jammy from that. He was good in studies. He was a very prolific cricketer right from his childhood, and his dad could see that kind of spark in this young guy, his kid, and that is the reason that he shifted to Bangalore, and a new chapter in the life of this little boy started. So he was around 10-11 years old when he moved to Bangalore, and he started playing cricket. And as you know, Bangalore has a very positive cricketing culture. As for the thing, Karnataka, after Mumbai, Baroda, these are the places where you actually get cricketers because the cricketing culture is very much there. So that was the place where this little guy started playing his professional cricket, rather in the club level. Then he started playing it, not exactly professional. He started to play one stage after one stage, and anybody who saw him at that point of time thought that he's something special. And that was the time of the 1980s, and then it took some time for him to come to the national scene. He broke into the scene by 1990s Ranjis. He was scoring tons and tons of runs in fast class cricket. But as you all know that some cricketers have a certain stage to see, to set their kind of performance or their careers. For Sachin Tendulkar, I had said in previous lives, it was a Faisal Baad or the Sialkot. For Sourav Ganguly, it was the brilliance at Lords in his opening match in which he got the century. It was in 1992 rather for Ganguly, his first one-day match in Australia, but people don't remember that because Sourav Ganguly announced his scene in international cricket in 1996 Lords. And also this gentleman whom I was talking for his birthday also made his debut in that match. He got out for 98, remember, he just missed it by 2 runs, and Ganguly after the match told him that you deserve that century as well. And actually that match was the introduction of 2 brilliant stalwarts who are going to play for India for a long time from 1996 for around 2 decades. Yes, the name is Rahul Sharath Dravid. Yes, Rahul Dravid. I am very fortunate and blessed to share the same name as him, and I always feel that if life gives you a Rahul, don't make it Gandhi, make it Dravid. So Rahul Dravid is my ideal. Yes, I am a big cricket fan, and I love Tendulkar a lot, and who doesn't love Tendulkar? Tendulkar is the absolute kind of a pinnacle of cricket, the god of cricket. But if there was a gentleman of cricket, that was this guy, Rahul Sharath Dravid. He started his career in 1996, initially branded as a test player. He didn't get much chances in one-day cricket at that time, and that was the time around 1997 that he first came into the scene of one-day cricket. and he actually redefined the way one-day cricket was played. Those were not the times of the IPLs or the big bash leagues of the current time. At that time, one-day cricket was also about pacing the game rather than just boom boom, just going from the ball one. So that was a time in which India didn't boast of a huge team, because that was the transition time, 1997, 1998. It was so much of a Tendulkar dominated scene. So if Tendulkar was out, then people used to switch off the television sets. So that was the time of the Tendulkar flamboyance. You had the Desert Storm of Sharjah. You had Tendulkar hitting all over the park. Wherever Tendulkar used to go, and when he used to open, he used to just dominate the opposition, and he used to take the game to a different level. But that was the time in which there were two gentlemen, Saurav Ganguly, who used to open with Tendulkar, and had some brilliant partnerships, and Rahul Dravid used to come at first down. So it was not the ideal position for him, as many suggested, because he was not the type of player who used to go behind the bowling or after the bowling right from the ball one. But he slowly tested his innings and he given the solidity to the Indian middle order. Rather, he protected the Indian middle order at that point of time, and it was right from 1997 to around 2010. So Rahul Dravid was an integral part of the Indian one-day side as well. He scored 10,000 plus runs, and believe me, it's not a joke to score 10,000 runs in any form of the game, be it T20, be it Test matches. In T20, nobody has done it though, because it is a shorter and a very newest addition to the cricket. But in one-day cricket, scoring 10,000 runs at an average of 45 plus with so many centuries is not easy for anybody to do it at that level. So that was the brilliance of Rahul Dravid. So he had scored many runs. And yes, he hung his boots in 2013 by playing his last match in England, and that was the tour of England in which he has scored 4 centuries as well. And he taken the England opposition. He was the only batsman in that tour to stand out, scoring 4 centuries, and people used to tell that this tour would be remembered for Rahul Dravid. He has been nicknamed the Wall, and Dravid has actually shared a humor as well on that, and he told that these media persons are very clever that they have named me the Wall, because they can put some new additions to this by telling there is cracks in the wall, one brick of the wall has been removed and so. But yeah, definitely he is the right person to be called the Wall, because if you see in Test cricket, and I'm not comparing it with Tendulkar definitely, if you see his average of 52 with 162 matches scoring, he's only the next batsman, around 12,500 runs. He's only next to Tendulkar, 15,900 runs in Test cricket. So he's the next batsman after Tendulkar, and in the world cricket, he's in number 4. So there is fierce players who have gone beyond Rahul Dravid when it came to Test cricket as well, and some tremendous innings. There are many that Rahul Dravid has played. If the top 5 I have to count, I'll definitely count the one at Trent Bridge against England after 270. It was a brilliant batting around 13-14 hours. And India really played well in the Test matches. The next will be definitely his century in Adelaide in the 2003-2004 session under the captaincy of Ganguly, in which India made a brilliant impact in Australia for the first time, that they were not marked as cheap travellers, but they put eye to eye with the Australian squad under Steve Waugh. That was his last series, and he scored some brilliant centuries there at the Adelaide one that India had won it, also because of a great bowling performance from Majid Agarkar. So it was a brilliant match. I still remember I was in class 7 and just Dravid with the India cap hitting the winning runs. The ball goes to the boundary and the tricolour fluttering. That was a great moment. The third definitely will be the 270 against Pakistan in Rawalpindi. I thought that he definitely was in line to score a triple century in that match as well. That was a high scoring match, but Dravid was exceptional batting performance that he had showcased in that match. And definitely the fourth will be one more match that he had played, a great innings. Many people don't remember it, in Hamilton against New Zealand back in 1999. That time Tendulkar was the captain in trying conditions against the Kiwis with the bowling attack of Chris Cairns, Gio Nash, Simon Dowell, Daniel Vittori. It was not easy, and he played a brilliant match. And the fifth and the most important definitely will be the century in Lords. And Ganguly had said to Dravid that I said that he missed the century in Lords on his debut in 1996. But that is Rahul Dravid. You never think that it is done. You never think that you cannot do it. And hard work, determination and grit. 15 years it took Mr. Rahul Sharad Dravid to score that century in Lords and get his name in the honours board. And that is a teaching for many of us in life, that you never feel that you are done, because you never know what is going to come in store for you, and you can actually do it. And coming back to the fielding aspect of Rahul Dravid, many people don't know that he had the highest international catches in test matches, surpassing Mark Waugh. He was a brilliant slip fielder, and that was a time in which Anil Kumble and Harbhajan Singh used to bowl in tandem in India, and away from the subcontinent it used to be Kumble, and fielding Kumble, it was his flippers, his leg breaks used to get edge. So if you see the scoreboard in the 1990s and the early 2000s, you will see many places caught Dravid bowled Kumble, caught Dravid bowled Kumble, or caught Dravid bowled Harbhajan. So you have to feel that the 600 plus wickets that Kumble had got, and also 400 plus wickets that Harbhajan Singh has got, many has to do with the master fielder in Rahul Sharad Dravid. Just one-handed, his reflex, and he was a brilliant slip fielder. And there is one catch from Rahul Dravid that many people don't remember against Pakistan in the 2002. That was a tour that India wished to forget, because India were up against a very top-class Pakistan and Australia side. At that time, they were having Wasim Akram, Shoaib Akhtar, and the Australian side was unplayable. I mean, McGrath, Gillespie, Brett Lee, Shane Warne, batting Mark Waugh, Steve Waugh, Damien Martin. That was the time in which Australia and Pakistan, I feel, early 2000, was one of the best teams. And in that team, they had the super fielding. And in one of the matches, India was playing Pakistan. I just forgot the venue a little bit. Moin Khan slapped one of Srinath. The ball was actually going at a tremendous speed, and a one-handed dive from Rahul Dravid. And I still remember that catch. I just keep on seeing it on YouTube. What a fielder, what a champion Rahul Dravid was. So yes, Rahul Dravid always had something to do for the team, and he was a complete team man. Be it in 2003, in which he was finding it a little bit hard to find a place in the team, because he was having a bad patch. An Indian team was that time having youngsters like Kaif, Yuvraj, and that was a new Indian team under Ganguly. And Ganguly backed him up because India didn't have a standard keeper at that time. There were many trials with Ajay Ratra, Vijay Dahiya, Parthiv Patel, but they didn't have a settled keeper to go for the 2003 World Cup. And that was the time in 2002, England too, Rahul Dravid was asked to keep, in which that India could play an extra batsman in Dinesh Mungia, and he agreed. He did some keeping initially in the club level, but agreeing to that in international stage, keeping in mind that it might hamper his batting, he donned the wicket-keeping gloves, and the rest is history. He did a wonderful job keeping. He did a brilliant job in the 2002 Tour of England as well as the 2003 World Cup, and he did it till 2004, almost when the time MSG or the great Mahendra Singh Dhoni came into the scene. He actually protected the Indian squad by doing his keeping. He batted in all the positions in his life, be it the opening the batting with Sehwag and scoring the highest opening stand against Pakistan, first down, second down, third down. Rahul Dravid had no problem in doing whatever the team wanted for him. He even bowled 5-6 overs, and he also has an international wicket to his name. So yes, a complete team man. But coming to his captaincy, there were discussions. There was the Greg Chappell era, the exclusion of Ganguly, and people used to feel that he's the captain of Greg Chappell. There were humours, there were allegations, there were criticisms. And yes, India didn't perform much well under his captaincy. But still, India won the first Test series in West Indies under his captaincy, and India won a very important series in England. And that was a mighty England squad back in 2007. It was under his captaincy. But yes, we didn't do well in the World Cup, going out cheaply in the first round, because that was a batting collapse against Bangladesh, in which India had lost. And the format of the World Cup was also such that if you had 2 bad days, you were out. So just after the World Cup in 2007, he came down and announced that he doesn't want to continue with the captaincy. And that was the end of the captaincy era of Rahul Dravid. But from 2007 till 2011, he was not much of a part of the one-day squad of 2010 because of the other players who had come up. But in Test cricket, till 2011, he was at the 2011 season. Definitely, I need to mention scoring 4 centuries, Tour of England, in which no other player scored century. And India had a terrible whitewash of 4-0 against England. And in that series, he was the standout batsman for the Indians. So yes, he had one bad tour against England, against Australia in 2012, in which we saw Dravid getting bowled. And that was a very sad scene as a cricket follower and a cricket lover to see there was some gap in the world. I really shouldn't say that because it's a huge comment against somebody. But yes, as people say, the genius people and master class guys For a legend of the game, they know when the time is up to hang up the boots and put the curtains down. And Rahul Dravid didn't need for anybody to tell him that your days. Yes, I still believe that he could have played 1-2 years. He did a wonderful job against all the positions when he played for Rajasthan Royals, captaining Rajasthan Royals, and in IPL he had fair bit of success, and I would say that's a really good success. We could see a complete different Dravid at 38, 39 scoring runs at a strike rate of 200. So that was what Dravid showed, that if you, as they say, if you're good in a classical form of music, you can do band music, you can do any form of music. So if you know the sport well, you can just switch the gears, and that the thing that Dravid was always playing slow is wrong, because he showed to the world that what defense is all about, how it is difficult to defend balls after balls, deliveries after deliveries. It's not easy, and he showed that what he's capable to do with his knocks in the IPL as well. So yes, he hung the boots in 2012 press conference. There was no farewell match, there were no tricolors, there were no media. He just came up from Australia, called a press conference and said, yeah, that's it, I'm done, and all the best I wish the juniors. And that's Dravid is all about, playing the shadow, and just when he's done, say a thank you, a goodbye, and move on. He played with the shadow of Tendulkar, because there was always the big banyan tree called Tendulkar, but still many people believe that if there was no Tendulkar, Rahul Dravid could easily go as the greatest batsman, Indian batsman of all time as well. And after the cricket got over, he took this coaching, and he did a brilliant job as a mentor for the U19 team. We have players like Prithvi Shaw, Shivam Gill, Suresh Iyer. All these players, Rishabh Pant, were because of Rahul Dravid. So he helps Indian cricket in a long way by now in the NCA, director of the NCA in Bangalore, and also as a U19 coach. So I definitely wish someday that he comes and becomes the coach of Indian team as well, because Indian team and Indian cricket needs Rahul Dravid. He is a champion player, an absolute gentleman of the game. On his birthday, I wish him all the best. I wish him a great life. I wish him that he continues to help Indian cricket. And he always said that he wants to serve Indian cricket, and I think world cricket would also be benefited from him in whatever capacity he is. A happy birthday, Rahul Dravid.